What up, y'all? It's your boy Jimmy Dukes. We are here for another Who Is Series podcast episode where we sit down and talk to different content creators as far as their journey and different life experience that led them to what they're doing and what they're trying to pursue in this world of streaming and content creation. Today we have a guy named by FelipeC Gaming. I came across him through another streamer. Shout out to Stevie P. He'd always be playing with him, and I didn't recently check him out until a couple weeks ago, and starting to get him to know him off and on the streams. Everybody speaks so highly of him. He's such a positive guy and has a great story. I reached out to him and asked him to come on here and oblige, so I appreciate his time. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest, FelipeC. What up, man? How you doing, brother?
What up, brother? Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, thank you so much, man. Like we were talking before getting on here, man. It's so cool that your journey is so interesting, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to reach out to you and talk to you, and I've gotten to know you more as I've gotten your streams more. You're such a positive guy, regardless of what you've gone through, and it's amazing to see that because it's inspiring to hear such positive shit come out of such negativity and such different things that, you know, people have to go through life and yourself, man. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and chopping it up with you a little bit and getting to know you a little bit more, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a journey, but it's a pleasure to be here and to still be breathing, bro.
Hell yeah, man. And that nice ass hair, you know, we were just talking about that. I don't know if you guys watch this video. You know, this is posted on Spotify and iTunes, but the videos are posted on YouTube. But man, our hair is on fleek, both of ours. This young man looks like Bret Michaels and shit.
You ain't wrong.
Hey, people call me Mini Jesus all the time. So
the ultimate crossover, bro.
There you go, man. We're gonna start a band and shit, man. So let's go into some of the questions I have for you, man. One of the first things I like to ask people is like, how'd you get your name? Like, is that like your name? Your real name is FelipeC, or like you don't have to go too much into your full name or anything. But how'd you get your name, or was it given to you?
Oh well, so basically my real name is Alex.
Okay.
And
I was like, oh, this guy's Hispanic. His name is Felipe. Nope, my name is Alex.
So I had a close friend also named Alex I went through high school with, like still talk to this day. Very good dude. And him and I would always have like same classes together. We'd always game together, all of this. And we decided that to help people not always being like Alex and Alex, he came up with the nickname Tony for himself. So I came up with Felipe.
Nice.
And he started streaming on Mixer, and I started streaming on Mixer around the same time a few years back. And he went by Tony Gregg, so I made FelipeC Gaming.
Nice. That's so cool. That's so awesome, right? It was just based on, hey, we and my buddy had the same name. We came up with these little alter ego names, and we just rolled with it.
Exactly. Never looked back, bro.
That's so sick. I always like hearing the story how people get their names, man. A lot of the time it's people, oh, I just gave myself the name, which is cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I like hearing the stories of how a name is given or come about, because there's such either the simplest dumb shit or the coolest shit, and either way they're great stories.
Oh yeah, either way there's a story within there. And
yeah, that's awesome, man. So give us a quick background about yourself. Like, where'd you grow up? Did you play video games? Like, was gaming part of your childhood?
Oh yeah, man. So growing up I was mainly more into like sports and everything. I played baseball, basketball, all of that stuff. I occasionally, like, we grew up with like a Super Nintendo and a Nintendo 64, all of those like OG ones.
Nice.
And played some Mario, all of that, but not really into games too much. My family was the kind that was like, you get 30 minutes max a day and then go do outside stuff always.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got out of high school, we went and I purchased myself a PlayStation 3 and got like Modern Warfare 3. I already played all the previous CODs before that, but not religiously or anything.
Yeah.
But now that I had my own console,
I could do my own thing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have to ask for permission for nothing now.
Right,
so
it's my shit.
So yeah, got into it, started really liking games, and man, like being a person that grew up with so much competition, it was fun to get into those multiplayer games and all of that and like have another way to compete still.
Yeah, little. I remember I grew up playing like N64 and you'd play the like shooter games. You know, like the split screen, and everybody would kind of give each other a hard time and see who's good and shit. So yeah, that I remember I would hate playing competitive games. Like a lot of friends, like I used to play Madden. They're like, "Hey, let's play." I'm like, "No." Like, why not? I was like, I'd rather not know if I could beat you or you beat me. I'd rather just not. I'll just get upset. I'll just shy away from the challenge. I'll just like, no, I'm good.
And then like once you actually win or something, it's always you're either screen peeking or you're something. There's always an excuse down the line.
I was like, all right, I would just stay away from competitive gaming. I'd rather have a good time and shit. I used to fucking get so upset, man. Just like when I was growing up and like 18, 19, fucking, oh, God damn it. This fucking game and fuck this. So I just had to like take a step back and be like, all right, this is a video game. I need to have fun. What the hell am I doing? And then I would still get pissed again.
It's a battle, bro.
Right? So, you talk about, playing games a little bit when you're growing up, and as an adult, you had your own system. So how did your life lead to like becoming a content creator? Like, how did you find about streaming or content creation? How did it lead to doing this?
Well, this is when the story gets a little more personal, I guess. So in 2017, I was diagnosed with late stage cancer, choriocarcinoma that had spread into my lungs. During chemotherapy, I would be sitting in an infusion center for about 8 hours a day. There's really nothing you can do there. At that point, I never really watched YouTube, didn't know about streaming, didn't know about any of this, didn't even know Twitch was the thing. And actually on FelipeC Gaming, I was just one day scrolling through my news feed and I see Stone Mountain playing PUBG. And I was like, oh, I play PUBG occasionally, so might as well watch this. Didn't even know who he was.
Nice.
And I got into watching that and Darkness 429, and these dudes were so uplifting.
Nice.
And just fun. And then the communities were like positive, where like one day I work up the courage to like make a comment about like, hey, you're really helping me while I'm going through this, like thank you for doing you. And then all of the people in the chat coming together and trying to show me support and some love, it really gave a lot of positivity in a dark spot in my life and helped keep giving me courage to continue to fight. And that's when I really decided that if I would get out of all of that and get healthy again, I wanted to dedicate my time to streams so I could try to recreate that kind of magic that saved me from maybe saving someone else down the line, to give them some positivity.
That's cool, because that's badass, because you're just in there randomly watching this fucking one of the best streamers on the platform. Didn't even know who the fuck he was. And, you just chat. And isn't it crazy how positive strangers could be when you have something in common? Like, it could be anything, baseball, games, board games, chess, whatever. When you get people in a community that have a thing in common, how much positivity comes out of that without even realizing it's there. And that is such an interesting and crazy story, that you're personally going through all this shit right now. You turn on the app and you're just there, and you start being a part of the community, and everybody's just like, fuck yeah, do your shit, man. We hope you get through there. And I'm assuming that's all the messages were, right? Like, just super positive. Isn't that so awesome? Yeah,
like I even met a few of my like gaming friends that I had for a little while when they switched to Fortnite. I started getting into Fortnite then, and some of them were like, oh yeah, we're all in the same community. And I started to get to game with those people, and those community members even just ended up becoming some of like my close friends for a little while. And it's just beautiful to see people come together and show some love and show how powerful just being there can actually be for someone.
Yeah, well said. And when I first started streaming, it was for me, it was like I was doing it for fun. And then I was like, this could potentially be a career, and I wanted to make content. But going through that and just being myself, I came across people telling me those kind of things and getting those DMs like, damn, man, I was having a shitty day. because of XYZ. I pop into your shit. You fucking broke your ankles on Warzone, made my day, you know? And without that wasn't my goal at the time. But after hearing it so often, it made me feel good knowing that my content was bringing such positivity, and me just being myself was bringing positivity, you know, to the streams. And that wasn't even my goal, but knowing that gave me more motivation and was inspired to be like, damn, I'm doing something bigger than me. So you going through that process and you just changing, you said, I want to do this because it helped me. So that's awesome, because that was your goal in the beginning. It was like, you know what? This helped me. If I can help any one other person help, I want to try this. And that's badass, man. I commend you for that. That's awesome hearing that.
Thank you, man. I just even literally last week saw that my page was tagged in a post. So, you know, you click on the notification, you want to see what it's about. And it's some streamer I didn't recognize, honestly, just like newer guy. And he tagged me in his stream saying that he was thankful for me because I gave him the inspiration to continue through at the hard times and to chase his dreams.
Badass, man.
And it's like, I didn't even realize that. So
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Oh, bro, it broke me.
Oh my God. I can't even, dude, I've had some messages, you know, from people, and it definitely like made me water a little bit, knowing that, damn, I made somebody feel that way. And it just, you know, you just being yourself, you know, and I tell people all the time when it comes to this, you know, content creation, like a lot of people have a hard time just being themselves. And, you know, you might not be for everybody, but the people that are for you, you know, you hear that kind of stuff and it inspires you and it motivates you to keep doing what you're doing, man. So that's badass. You know, obviously, you know, going into the whole personal thing in your life, and you were battling, you know, cancer on and off for how long?
It was pretty much all of 2017. Actually, today, on this actual day of recording, is 5 years since I took the PET scan that told me I no longer had to go through chemotherapy.
Fuck yeah, man. That's amazing, bro. That is fucking badass, man. Thank you for sharing that information with us. That's so sick. You know, I'm just so happy hearing that, man. And it just goes about, you know, when we were talking before we started recording, I was like, I met you through Stevie P, and you'd be playing with them, and I would see you, and I would drop in on your streams. But you know, how many people are streaming and get to know you? There's so many of us, so it's nothing personal. We just get to know each other over time, or don't, or we just know of each other, right? But I remember Stevie would have said, no, Felipe's a shit, man. No, you don't understand, man. I would have conversations with him when we play, and I was like, all right, let me go check this fucking guy out. Oh man, he was right. You know, I try to catch you when I can, and we kind of have the same circle of people we kind of relate to. So I'm glad I did, and I've been following you maybe for like 2-3 months, maybe, I don't know, but I knew of you, and then I started following you because when it comes to this, I just don't follow people just to follow people. I try not to be fake, and I try to like the people that I do go watch, I genuinely like them and their content, so I make sure I drop by, because this whole follow for follow shit, that's a whole other story. But you know, I can't just follow everybody that follows me. You know, I'd be fake if I were to do that. But I'm glad that people spoke so highly of you, and I went in, and God damn it, they were right.
It's been a genuine pleasure getting to know you.
Hell yeah, man, I bet. So, you know, going into the next question, like, so you led to wanting to be a streaming, and when did you realize to start taking it serious? Like, obviously, you said, hey, if I can get myself healthy and I can get myself in that point. And then when you started doing it, when did you realize, like, damn, I'm having fun, I'm moving forward, this is something I can see myself doing? When did you have that little epiphany, like, damn, this is badass, I'm gonna keep doing it?
I feel like that would have all came when I got the realization that it was also a therapy for myself. Because while it's great to try to help others, you also need to always make sure that you're up to your own standards as well and are growing as a person. And like, I've always struggled with social anxiety when it comes to trying to like get to know someone. I've just had a hard time opening up, being mean, and being able to use streams to get to know these people, have seeing the welcoming that people have brought to me, and then hearing different stories that other people would have said of their experiences with me, even to the point of all the work I've been able to do with St. Jude's and seeing the impact that they even have reached out to me about. It just it made me realize that this was bigger than a personal journey of just a hobby for me, that this is something that I genuinely have love for and would dedicate time for and would go through the hardships with, kind of thing. And so, yeah, being able to get through all of that and seeing who I am as a person from it and being able to relearn who I am and learn to really be happy
Yeah,
really drove me forward.
that's cool because a lot of people, when you start doing this long enough, regardless of your growth or how often or whatever, you learn about yourself and you grow in different ways, or realize this is for you or not for you, or maybe it just makes you a better person. Before, we were recording right now, I was just bullshitting about how I've gotten to be a better speaker because of streaming and watching myself stream and critiquing myself, and people telling me, hey, you're good at this, you need to do this, and like being receptive of it, because a lot of people have their own style of streaming, but the person that I am on camera and stream is genuinely the person I am in person. But I like to make sure that I get better at doing this as well. And like I grew a lot these past 2.5 years doing this. It's crazy how you're saying like you got to relearn, reassess your life, going through all that things, and realizing this is a bigger than me, but at the same time it's good for me. It's not like your main mission is to make everybody happy. You talked about, damn, this is therapy for me too. This helps me as well, with whatever I got going on in life. And it's like you decompress and play video games with friends and bullshit and make content and make people laugh and inspire, like all that involved without you realizing that was what you were going to end up doing. That's so awesome to hear.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
It's nice to be able to actually get to know yourself.
Yeah.
In the process.
Hell yeah. Because a lot, like I tell people all the time, when it comes to this, you got to be honest with yourself, and you gotta look at yourself different ways. Like if you're not changing or evolving or doing things that makes you stand out from other people, then you might not get the growth or the goal that you want. But as long as you're realistic with yourself, this is an awesome journey for everybody. And I think it helps people. I had people that start with me and they stop streaming, but I was fun. I did it. It was cool, man. And they got something out of it, so, keeping the ship going is one of the hardest things for a lot of people, because moving forward. So what are the biggest challenges that you've had with streaming, and like, how did you overcome it? Obviously your health was one thing, but once you got your health going and you started streaming, and what were some of the roadblocks or challenges you had that made you like overcome it, or kind of second guess, like, is this for me or not?
A lot of it comes down to, I guess a lot of it is relearning who you are after trauma. Sorry, it's hard when you go through something so life altering.
What, Jesus, yeah. I could never relate or understand, or even if I knew somebody going through it, to actually be the person going through it. Yeah.
And I guess I just had to really rediscover me. And in that journey, my whole stream has seen me go through that journey. They've seen the shy, timid me who couldn't even make eye contact with someone, who was too afraid to even dedicate to a game, because I was so afraid that everything was going to collapse on me again. And then that's turned into me learning how to be more comfortable. And it's a message I try to get across to everyone, is a lot of times when we go through trauma or some hardship, we look at the tail end of it, we look to get our old normal back. But unfortunately, that old normal will never come back.
Yeah.
We have to create our new normal and our new selves and relearn ourselves. And so I guess my biggest obstacle was trying to do that while trying to lead a community and build up all of this.
Hmm.
It was a learning process and still will always be a learning process. I'll never.
Definitely. Yeah. Like we're always evolving and we're always going through different challenges to we try to overcome. Let it be reach or notifications or amount of content, amount of streaming time, amount of videos we put out. Those are all different things that 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 we have to encounter as far as of a content creator. And then on top of that, your life, what you have going on, making sure you're in a good state of mind, because when it comes to this, you could easily get burned out. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize it until they're going through it. And I've seen people go through I hate when people say, and this is nothing personal to people that say it, I hate when people are like, I'm grinding to get this, I'm grinding to 1,000, I'm grinding this. And I'm just like, yeah, grinding wears you down. Like if you're not in a good place mentally and yourself and what you got going on in life, you can grind yourself right out of this because it's not for everybody. It's not as easy as it seems. And to keep that focus on your community and your content and make sure yourself is good too, that's a lot of moving parts that people don't realize it until they start doing it. So that's why I always like to speak to people that have been doing it for some time, because a lot of people will start and stop or not come back, or they do it for 6 months and then completely stop. The consistent growing and evolving of doing this is way harder than people realize until they go through it.
Yeah. And like in the end of the day, it goes to what you're saying about the constant grinding and everything. Part of the grind that people a lot of times I feel may miss is taking a day off, taking time to relax and to regather yourself.
Yeah.
It's just as important so you can be your 100% you. And people will see if you're not to your full capabilities.
Yeah.
There's no shame in taking the time you need.
Yeah, and that's good that you say that. That's the other topic that I'll be discussing as well down the line on this show. But a lot of people get so caught up on wanting to always stream. And I've said it before, I don't stream just to stream. Like when I'm streaming, I'm providing content, I'm providing entertainment, I'm creating, different things in my head. And I want to make sure I'm feeling good. Because before, when I first started, I'm sure you're like, I gotta grind. I gotta stream. I gotta stream today. I gotta stream at least an hour or two. And like, after a while, I started realizing like, I'm just doing it just to do it. I'm like, I'm over here just getting pissed off or not playing well, or I'm hungry, or I had a long day and I still force myself to stream. So I'm glad that you talked about and brought up that mental aspect, because it's tough, even though you're just turning on the camera and playing video games, to be entertaining and be yourself. I mean, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing if you just play when you just want to play, but if you want to be successful in this and grow, then Felipe being on here when he's sick and tired all the time is probably not going to be as fun as watching Felipe when he's rested and having fun.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so I'm glad you brought up that, take that step back, take the time to take care of yourself, physically and mentally, and your product, which is your stream or whatever, is going to be that much better when you're in a good place like that, man. So speaking about all that, all the things. So how do you keep your motivation going? We talked about, why you started it and the different challenges you've come across. And now that you have where you're at, you feel good, you're progressing, you're growing. So how do you keep that motivation going?
Yeah. One of the biggest things is that I genuinely love what I do, which can get disheartening at different points because it's so easy to get lost on, while numbers are important, one stream doesn't dictate what your content is. Sometimes you'll just have a day where people are busy or whatever. And
well said.
You can't beat yourself up for one off day.
Or a couple.
And so, yeah. And it comes down to, are you doing what you love? If someone asked you about it, are you happy with what you're doing? And I genuinely am.
Hell yeah.
And on top of that, it goes to the motivations of what I said even started with my streaming of, I want to bring that light to someone. I don't care if I have one person in my stream or a million people in my stream. If I can touch one person in this entire journey, to me, I've made it entirely worth it.
Fuck yeah.
Even if that one person is me, because there's nothing wrong with providing myself my own level of happiness. And literally, just that simple thought is what keeps me driven to push through all of it.
And that's good because, you know, your mission or why you started is one thing, and then your self-care is another thing, and you can put those two together to keep going forward. Because sometimes people might lose sight of why they started or what they want to do, and then, you know, having that balance of everything is, you know, very important, you know. And that leads me to my next question, like, how do you balance, you know, your family relationship, your friends? And because a lot of people don't understand what we do or may not like what we do with our time, regardless if you're trying to be a full-time, make money, or, you know, pursue this in any different way. It doesn't matter. A lot of people, they look at this and they're like, oh, you're just playing video games, you know. So how do you explain your relationship with your family and friends, and to understand what you're trying to do with this?
Yeah, honestly, up until about a month ago, this has been an issue that I was actually encountering, because it's even with what you were saying of, to an outside person, which there's no shame in it, but someone who doesn't fully understand the full spectrum of streaming, it just sounds like I might say, oh, I can't come do this or whatever because I'm going to go play video games with my friends.
No shit.
And it's like, oh, you're not responsible. It's like, it's a different level of that. And I just feel like personally, I didn't give my loved ones the same level of care that they were giving me. And it's a journey to work on. I've been working on it, and it's been nice. I've realized that the biggest way through these problems is communicating with each other. Try to, and it comes even on both sides, let me know if I'm messing up, but also let me communicate with you that I do care.
Yeah.
And that I'll either be there or whatever it may be. If something's important to you, I'll do this. And not only communicate, but my actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
So take the time to actually show them some love, but also make sure that they also see what you need to do in the journey as well.
Well said, because that's a good point right there. Because a lot of people, and I had this, you know, I'm married full-time. I work full-time. I have kids. So the time I'm taking away, you know, is my time. But at the same time, you know, my wife didn't understand. But over time, explaining how serious I was about it and passionate, and showing her that I was progressing and not just doing it just to do it, helped with that. You know, how you saying the communication is big, because I've had a lot of friends or streamers and say, well, my wife doesn't understand, or I have, you know, my kids are running around half the time and I can't focus, and things like that. And I was like, well, there's a lot of things that you have to line up to get to the point to be able to do this. So you have to line up your life to make sure that you're able to do it and actually pursue it the way you want to. And conversations and communication is important. Definitely, how you mentioned, because if people don't understand what you got going on and they don't take you seriously, what I've done is I explain what I do and I genuinely like doing, and I'm not a POS dad. You know, I try to be a great husband. I don't have any issues at work. My bills are paid. But with all that shit going on, I still take this seriously. So for you to look at me and say, well, he's just playing video games or whatever, that's fine. So I don't have to sit there and explain myself to somebody who doesn't understand or want to understand. That's one thing I have learned through this journey, through myself, is like, I don't have to prove or explain myself to everybody.
Yeah, and you have to keep yourself surrounded by those that actually support your cause. Just because someone might not see your dream, that's okay. That's not on you to stress, but you don't need someone else to bring you down.
Exactly. Like, I don't know how many times where, you know, you said that I've had plans to do something else and I couldn't do that, you know, because you don't want to be an a-hole, but at the same time, you want to make sure if you have an event or co-stream or something that you planned ahead of time, that, hey, I'm taking my time to do that. So for you to give me a hard time what I've scheduled and what I'm doing with my life personally pursuing this, like, why are you giving me such a hard time when, a lot of the time, from other friends and family, oh, they're not in my streams, they don't care. You should be okay with that. Not everybody's going to understand what you're trying to pursue or your journey or where your dream is, and you have to be okay with that. A lot of people get caught up in like, man, fucking my own girlfriend, my own wife doesn't even come to my streams, and you have to be okay with that. But the people that do show up are the people that you should be thanking and appreciating their time, because they're the ones that are understanding what you're trying to do and your journey and whatnot through this, man. So definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So you talk about the communication, the being inspired by fucking Stone Mountain, no fucking shit, going through all your health issues. Is becoming a full-time streamer or a partner on any platform a goal? Is it something in your head, or is it like bullet in your head, or if it happens, it happens? Like, is full-time a thing, or being a partner a thing in your career?
I mean, so the simple, probably more political answer is, of course, I want it, but I'm not going to hold myself to it. But with the competitive mindset that I do have, it's what I fight for every day. I'm not in here for the money. I'm not in here for this. I'm in here to try to reach someone. But the more people I can reach, I think that's just good. It's good to show, or so I just basically try to make it where that is a goal I'll work for every single day. I think that the only way we'll ever get to live our dreams is by pursuing them and trying to tackle them head on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I will always fight for this. And it is definitely a goal of mine. And it's one that, cocky or not, I plan to achieve.
That's badass. And I the way you are talking about it and explaining it is good, because you're realistic. Because I've come across people like, I want to be partner, or I want to be full-time by the end of the year. I've even said that. I've had conversations with my wife at the beginning of this year. I was like, all right, I want to go full-time. I think I could do it by the end of the year if I'm making but then, as I keep going through it, and I'm like, damn, this is way harder than I thought. Maybe let me readjust my goal. And as I stopped looking at that and worrying about full-time and worrying about money, I've gotten better at my craft, and I've grown my presence on different platforms by just, how you were saying, working on it daily, in and out, and just doing the small things is what helps you pursue your dream. How you were saying, like, hey, it's a goal, but I'm not getting caught up in it right now, but I would love to attain that. But right now, I'm doing everything I need to do now to get to that eventually.
It's something I was once told. So a lot of times in our brain, we see that, like, our goals or our dreams might be looked at as like in this metaphor, a giant brick wall that we're trying to build, right? And we start laying the bricks, we start doing what we need to do, and we look at the progress we made, but in our head, we see this glorious, like, piece of art that we saw for ourselves, that we feel disheartened by the amount of progress that we've actually made compared to where we think we should be. And instead of making the goal the wall, make the goal the brick. I'm just going to lay one beautiful brick today, and it's going to be the most beautiful brick I could ever lay. And you keep working with that mindset, sooner than later, you're going to get that entire wall that you once thought you wanted. And you would have never even stressed the process of getting there.
Right. That analogy was amazing. Jesus.
Thank you.
I had a golden brick today with you, man. Let me tell you that. But that's so, the way of you looking at it like that, like, all jokes aside, that's a simple way to look at it, but it's great, because you're more worried about the whole goddamn mansion. How about you just worry about building that wall first?
Yeah.
And then the other wall, and then this, and then I think that's great that you say that, because as we all go through this journey, whatever our potential is, or our growth rate, our knowledge curve, learning things and doing things, as long as you're willing to feel uncomfortable and keep moving forward, you get better at doing this kind of stuff. And I think after doing it for 2 years, I feel like for me, the sky's the limit for me, because I knew what I did in those 2 years, and it's nowhere near what I can do this next year, and not the year after that. Because I look back, I'm like, damn, I did this, and this, and I could have been doing this and this, but now I know, and then I can do this. Talk about networking with the right type of people, surrounding yourself with the right type of positivity, and things like that. Because I just don't waste my time with anybody nowadays, and it's nothing personal. I say it all the time. People say, why don't you co-stream with this person? I was like, I don't know them. They don't know me. Their vibes are different. We play different games, and I've always felt like I need to feel comfortable with myself and being cool with somebody else, and they get me before we can make some great content. Because a lot of the time it might be forced, or it's weird, and people might not understand what your vibe is, or I don't get their vibe. So feeling confident in yourself and knowing what you bring to the table is very important. And it's awesome, that analogy you made. Just, hey, work on yourself one thing at a time. Don't beat yourself up because you're not a full-time now. Don't beat yourself up because you're not at 1,000 people. Focus on the things you can control. What can you do every day? So that's one thing I tell people all the time. Like, my goal every day is one clip, one reel a day. I can do one reel a day. I stream 12 hours a week. I can get 7 clips out of all those hours. So what is something that you can focus on that you don't have to depend on anybody? I tell people that are, start streaming or in a rut or at a platform, focus on things that you can do. Can you stream an extra hour? Okay. Can you learn how to edit? Can you post a video? Can you network with the right people? What are things that you can do? Don't depend on other people to get to your dream. Like, what can you do to keep pursuing and moving forward? So that brick thing is amazing.
Yeah, got to keep the goals manageable and achievable,
and realistic too. And just getting to talk to you a little bit more and more. This is the most I've ever talked to you, obviously, but you have a good head on your shoulders, and being you're ambitious, but at the same time realistic, and where you're at and where you could be, but you're not beating yourself up too. And I think a lot of people that hear this might think about that and step back and reassess things differently. Like, damn, you know what, maybe I'll just take a step back. Maybe I need to stream less and learn how to edit, or maybe I need to play with this person and not that person, or maybe just reassessing and looking at yourself is really good thing. So with all that being said, being partner full-time maybe as a career, does one question I like to ask people, and this is a mixed question, there's no wrong or right, but does being respected or taken serious by your peers a thing for you? Like, do you care what people think about you, or to respect you or not?
I feel like it's how you said there's no right or wrong answer. I feel honestly the same way for me as a person. There's definitely reason that I would care. I think that if you are trying to build yourself, you should listen to criticism. You should listen to all of these things. But at the same time, you shouldn't falter who you are.
Yeah.
So I want to be respected by those that I want to be respected by.
Well said. Yeah. If a random person that says, fuck FelipeC, he fucking wears a bandana, he looks like an idiot, you're going to be like, who are you? Do I care? But your close friends and family, streamer friends, if they were to tell you something, you would take it like, yeah, they're telling me for a reason, Yeah. And you want that camaraderie, and to be able to speak to people like this, because we're all trying to pursue and try to do something. So having a person that we could respect and trust when they say something, and vice versa, is awesome.
Yeah, it's about who you surround yourself with. How they always say that, like, if you surround yourself with more ambitious people, with people who have better heads on the shoulder, you're going to be able to build from that.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that I even tell my stream whenever I see people complimenting me or whatever, of when we do our like positivity streams of let's talk up on people. I realize that a lot of the things people say on me is something that I was inspired by from someone else. And I see like just different things that they bring to the table, and I'm like, I respect the hell out of that. And I try to, you don't try to like become a copy paste image of that person, but it's good to be motivated by those.
Yeah. And inspired. Yeah, of course. Cause obviously you saw Stone Mountain, you're like, damn, I could do that, but you're not like him, but you saw what his product was, how he carried himself on stream. And I think that's important because one of the things that I do myself is like I watch a lot of streamers and I don't say nothing. I just trying to see how they're at and how they carry themselves and what I can learn from them. And then when I start getting to know certain people, I'm like, damn, you know what? Felipe does that really good. How can I put that into my stream or use it to tweak? Or this person does that really good. Or I saw this person do that and that didn't work. Maybe I can make it work. Or maybe don't try to do that just because everybody else is doing it. But having those, friends that you build a relationship over time with, and it's crazy that we become friends by doing these and having these conversations, and we grow and learn from each other, and also having that person to look over the shoulder and like to your next to you and be like, hey, there's Felipe. That fool's positive as shit. Him doing all his shit makes me want to do all my shit. Because I at first, like, people like, oh, we're not competing against each other, you know what I mean? But I look at it as far as a competing standpoint, as far as like, I like seeing people do good, so it inspires me to do good. That's the competition that I like seeing. So if I see Felipe is doing work, Stevie's doing work, Cherry's having a good time, everybody's growing, it motivates me because those are people that I look to and I get motivation and inspiration from. And at the same time, they respect me. So when they say certain things, I'm like, damn, it's reassuring and nice hearing that from your peers, because a lot of people have a hard time networking and building those relationships with people that, have the same common goal and interest, but at the same time are genuinely good people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have a group around you that uplifts you, but also makes you into the better version of you.
Exactly. I say that all the time, like, be yourself and be a better version of yourself each time. Don't try to be like anybody else. It's stupid and cliche and cheesy, but it's fucking true. I tell people all the time, damn, Jimmy, it's easy for you to do that. I'm like, fuck you, man. You know how long I've been doing this? I bust my ass. I talk to the right people. I do this, I do that. So for you to sit there and say it's easy for me, it's not. I've grown and I've surrounded myself with the right type of people that inspire me to keep doing what I do and motivation from my community and hearing certain messages and people bullshitting and have a good time. That's all that, how you were saying, having that with other content creators is such a plus. Like, you don't need other people to play with or to be successful, but having that helps for sure. 100%, man, for sure. So, you talk about, having a good circle of friends and, people that you met, and we have the same kind of people in our circles. Like, what is your goal as a content creator? Like, an ideal future? Like, there's no time, financially is not an issue. Like, ideally as a content creator, like, what is your future? Is that something you want to do forever, short period of time? Like, do it on the side? Like, what is your ideal future as a content creator?
Yeah, so ideally it would be something I could do forever, because to me this is something that would always continue to grow. Would it be the same way that it is now? No. I always tell even different content creators, never let your content get stagnant. Always look to continue your growth, continue to change and adjust with the times.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to become old news with everything. For me, my whole goal is community. I want to not just I don't want the spotlight always on me, I want to show other people what they do. I want to show other people that it's not just me who's overcome different things. I want to highlight different people's trauma struggles that they've gone through and their comeback stories that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able just to do all of these different things. And in the end of the day, while numbers do matter, don't get me wrong, if you're looking for growth, your number will matter.
Yeah.
But I try not to let the number define me.
Correct. Well said. Because it does. And I tell people, like, and I have these not discussions with other people. Well, numbers don't matter. Do it for fun. Well, yeah, that's you. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm taking time away from my family, my career, or other things I could be doing. So for me, I pay attention to that. So if I'm not growing, and how you said, I'm glad you said that, keeping up with the times and the trends, you could easily get far left behind, because how many people are doing the same damn thing that we're trying to do? So if you want to be successful, you have to do all the things that you said. You know, you have to change, you have to keep up, you have to evolve. If you're doing this just for fun and you're just turning on the camera just to bullshit with your friends, hey, more power to you. You don't care about the numbers. But for somebody to sit there to suspend, you know, 6 to 7 hours a day streaming and saying they don't care about the numbers, then turn on and say nobody ever fucking shows up to watch me, nobody likes my streams anymore. Like, well, what are you doing? You know, what can you do? Why are you pointing a finger to everybody else? What could you be doing to stand out or to grow? You're still doing the same. You being a COD player, or you playing one game over and over again and not being specialized or great in it, and you're just BSing, then it's kind of hard to stand out or grow, you know?
Exactly. It's no one owes you a single second.
Yep. Well said.
And so give them a reason to come.
Mm-hmm. Somebody told me that the other day. Oh, fuck, who was it? I'm going to think about it later, but it's like any time of yours is all I need. You know what I mean? Just like 1 second, 10 minutes of your time is all I need, you know, because a lot of people don't understand that other people got shit going on. You said it earlier, that you have a bad stream. Like, well, nobody showed up. Well, fucking A, people have lives, you know, people have lives and stuff going on. And on top of that, like, if you don't have a schedule, then people don't normally know when you're getting on. That's a whole other aspect too. You got to keep in consideration, or how many other people are streaming that know you and your communities. That we all have people that we all have in common, and we all try to drop in on each other's stuff. So it's funny that people like, oh, the numbers don't matter, and then they get pissed off because of the numbers.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so are you just talk, or do they actually matter?
Yeah, man, that's insane.
At least be realistic, so I can respect it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I have a lot of people that stream, they just do it for fun, and they don't care, and I respect it because they've never said anything about anything else. You know, they have the camera on or don't have the camera on, and they're socializing and having fun, and that's their goal. So why am I gonna hate on that? You know, the person that's trying to make it as a living and complaining that they don't have supporters and things like that, then that's you. Like, what are you doing to try to get people to come back? I had a friend tell me a couple weeks ago, he was like, damn, Jimmy, everybody talks about how great you are. You're like a badass restaurant that everybody goes to once, but just never goes back sometimes. And I'm like, motherfucker, that is so right. But it's true. But you can't take it personal, because people do talk about how great you are, but might not come back or might not be in your streams. But at the same time, take that as a positive thing. Like, they took the time to at least tell people about you. You know, I hate this when people come and say, hey, where you been? Long time no see. The first thing you're going to tell somebody when they come in your stream is telling them where you've been. Like, get the fuck out of here.
They're those type of people that's like, hey, can I have $1? And you give them $1 and they're mad that it's not 5. And it's just, you can't, it just doesn't work that way. Be appreciative.
Yeah, I gave you $1, bitch. Well, you could have gave me 5. Well, I could have gave you nothing.
Yeah, they're like, well, it's like, come on, just think of the amount that they do.
No shit. Hey, I always say this. It's fucking, the glass is always half full, not half empty, man.
Exactly.
Oh shit. So you talk about like you want this to steadily always be doing it, and that's cool. That's something that I see myself. I'm an IT professional, and that's gonna pay my bills. That pays the house. We have insurance. I have kids, you know. So being a full-time content creator making no money makes no sense for me right now. But eventually it's just something that I want to do, and I just don't want to burn myself out doing it. So I'm glad that you said that too, because, you know, you said you work and you do this too. So it's like I see myself always doing this, but taking it serious at the same time. Like, I just don't see myself not doing it. And if I'm not going to do it, I'm going to be honest with myself and let people know that, hey, maybe I changed the way I'm going about this. It's not about being full-time. It's more about having fun. My schedule might not be as on as before, but being honest with yourself is a good thing, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So, you know, you talk about going through your life and beating cancer and being inspired by Stone and fucking surrounding yourself around the right type of people and being so positive and balancing everything and, you know, building your mansion, you know, one brick at a time. You know, what are some tips and some advice that you would give to somebody that might want to do this, or somebody who's in your community that's watching you or might be inspired? Like, what are some tips that you wish you knew when you first started that you can say, hey, do this, don't do this, or focus on that, or because we grow from our mistakes. But if you want to give somebody a nice little cheat code, what would you say?
Yeah, so I don't want to be the cliche answer always of, oh, networking, because yes, that's important. There's a reason it's a cliche answer is because it's said all the time, because it does matter.
Correct.
For me, I guess the main thing, I have a couple things I'd probably say, but the number one thing is, if you're looking for success, you do need to study your analytics. Do not let that go under the radar. It takes time to learn it. It takes time to do all of that, but take the time to learn it if you put the work in. And don't just look at one day things. I've seen people, and it's no offense to anyone, but you get a big raid where someone, like a bigger name, raids your stream, right? And then they take that as that's their success. No, that's one stream that someone else brought things in.
Yeah.
Take the time to study your overarching, like, look at your month, look at even the week. Don't look at
well said, man. Good. Yeah, man.
Because like it tells you if you're testing something new, how we were talking, evolving your content. This is how you see if the new thing is working or if it isn't. There's going to be failures.
Yeah, because just because so-and-so is doing well with it and you try it, that doesn't mean to keep trying to force it because it's working for other people. Like, you have to know yourself and your product and your community. Because one of the, I'm sure I started just like a lot of people, COD. I had to play COD. I had to be good. And then when I started getting away from it, I started growing more and I started learning more about myself and what works and why people come back. And that niche that a lot of people have different niches and different things. But one thing that it took me almost 2 years, like a year and a half, to realize is that I'm the niche. Me. People come back for me, not for the game. They're interested in what games I play, and more people will come for other games, but generally people show back up for the person that they're selling. So if you're fun or entertaining, or somehow you could be a beast at a game and people just show up to you just for you to annihilate people and give tips. I've seen bigger streamers that all they're doing is playing COD, but they're entertaining and they're like, all right, this is my loadout. This is what I do. I do this because of that. And people are learning. So you get a different aspect from that streamer compared to somebody who's just running around laughing and making clips and having a good time. So there's a streamer for everybody, but knowing your audience is big time.
Yeah. And going into the whole audience thing, you need to communicate with them. And it goes down to the whole, if it's 1 or 1 million thing, if they're taking time out of their day to come see you, it's not on them to see you. It's on you to give them the best possible experience that they can get. So communicate with your chat.
Yeah.
You don't have to always be reading.
Yeah.
But like,
acknowledgement, because I mean, you get to a certain extent, a certain point, that people, your chat goes from like being able to read it to where like people are having conversations within themselves. But you got to be aware, like, hey, they're talking. All right, cool. Then you could acknowledge and bullshit too, because those cues are important, because I tried my best, and I'm not saying that I have 1 million people in my stream, but I'll miss a comment and I'll say, hey, my bad. If I miss a comment, just say, hey, Jimmy, you forgot my comment, and post it again. And I won't take it personal, because, hey, sometimes I'm focusing on the game or I'm looking at chat and I might miss your line. You know what I mean? But I'm being honest with them. It's not that I don't want to read your comment. Maybe I just didn't see it. But being honest with people and not them feeling afraid to post it again. Like, oh, this fucker didn't see it, I'm gonna post it again. Or like, oh, he didn't see it, so I'm not gonna say nothing. Knowing your audience and your community, like, oh, Jimmy just messed up, or Felipe didn't see it, so it's nothing personal. Like, hey, my bad, I didn't see it. Oh, now I say, oh yeah, this is that. You know what I mean? So being honest with yourself and whatever your brand is good.
Yeah, and get to know your community. Like, if you're looking for a reason for people to come back, people will come for a friend. People will come for someone that shows them the same level of compassion that they show you. It goes a long way. And don't fake it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if that's what you provide for your community and your audience, then stay true to it. And if it's not you, then don't try to fake it, because people could tell when you're faking, or kind of, because I see a lot of streamers and I'll go in there and then just like, ugh, I just could tell this guy or this girl or this, it's not genuine, and maybe I don't understand and I don't care enough to be around. But You know, I give a person a couple streams, and if I can't, you know, relate to what they're doing or who they are, then it's nothing personal. Just I've had a lot of people like, hey, they told me to check you out. You're trash. All right, cool. Thanks for the view, and we'll see you later. I mean,
Thanks for the comment.
you know what am I gonna say? Well, come back again. Oh, maybe it was like if you don't like me, you're like me. You know what I mean? The people that do like me, I know they like me, and then so it's all good. You know, getting caught up in trying to get everybody to like you is a whole other thing that you should not have to do.
When you get to try to get everyone to like you, chances are you're going to make everyone hate you.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, man, I appreciate your time, man. I'm glad I got to sit down and talk to you a little bit more, and, you know, talking about your story, and it's fucking inspiring and awesome to see. And I can't wait to see what you keep doing, these streams and, you know, things with St. Jude and things like that. It's amazing to hear, bro. That's badass. So let everybody know where to find you, what, you know, plug yourself, what you play, what's your schedule like, you know, what can we expect if we were to go into FelipeC Gaming?
Yeah. Well, so yeah,
that my name is Alex. That my name is Alex, but I go by
yeah, I'm Alex. You might know me better as FelipeC Gaming,
aka Brett Michaels.
Yeah, or Phil Michaels. There's a lot of nicknames going on. I'm on Facebook Gaming. I also occasionally post on TikTok. I'm trying to get better at that area.
Hey, there you go. You said it. You're trying.
And I'm I'm working on a new schedule right now. Typically live Monday through Saturday. Trying for more evening streams instead of afternoons, and you'll just get. I play my Call of Duty, Fall Guys. I play whatever.
Yeah, I like that. A lot of the people I've been talking to are more variety. I've had some people that are just straight one game, but I think it's cool because we're all gamers at the end of the day, and we want to appeal to an audience. Yeah. So you got to be able to play other games too, you know, and get out of your comfort zone to play other games. So I'm glad that you do as well.
And all you'll get is some laughs, some real talks, positivity.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of focus on mental health awareness.
Fuck yeah. That's cool, man. And I'm glad you said that, man. And that's a whole other conversation I'd like to have with you a little later, man, now that I got to pick your brain and get to know you a little bit better, man. So thanks so much for your time, man. You know,
thank you.
Hell yeah, man. I hope that everybody who's listening or watching this got some, you know, information or get inspired or motivate or maybe you like, fuck these two guys, you know, kind of thing. Whatever. As long as you got something out of this, we appreciate you guys listening and watching, man. We thank you guys so much for your time as well, man. For me, Jimmy Dukes, and my boy over here, FelipeC Gaming, man. Make sure you catch us on Facebook. All these podcasts are posted on iTunes, Spotify, and the videos are on YouTube, man. So thanks again so much for your time, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, man. See you guys later. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you go check out all those episodes. Like I said, we're on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Support the channel, support us. You know, we enjoy doing this and we appreciate the feedback, guys. Until next time, peace out, homies.